Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Evangel. I've been a chiropractic physician for the last 34 years. And also, I'm the host of the Super Mike Show. But this show is not my show. This show is your show. The reason why, we've designed the show to be a survival guide to life. We'll cover topics such as health, fitness, nutrition, longevity, the environment, and personal safety. Why do you need a survival guide? There's so much misinformation out there today, people get confused. When one expert says one thing and another expert says something else, who do you believe? What do you believe? For example, is coconut oil good for you or bad for you? Every week, we will cut through the misinformation and deliver the truth to you. You can then take that truth and share it with others, and then you will become their holistic hero. With that in mind, let's talk about today's topics. Hippocrates in ancient Greece, about 3,000 years ago, said, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food." We are what we eat, but the problem, we're eating too much junk, garbage, processed food, junk food, not real food. Our guest today, Dr. Fred Bisci, is an expert on many things. I'll tell you, when I met this man, I'm not impressed by too many people. He impressed me greatly. Because everything that we do either makes us live longer or not so long. Life is a giant game of Russian roulette. We never know what's going to happen. But when we play the odds in our favor, we're betting ourselves and we can win. Excesses and deficiencies. In one sentence, that's what makes us not as healthy as we possibly can be. We have to find that Goldilocks zone, and this man is the man to teach us where the Goldilocks zone is. Toxicity in the world is remarkable today. We take in about 13 pounds of toxins a year. What we drink, what we eat, what soaks through our skin, and what we breathe into our bodies. About 60,000 chemicals that were not even in existence 100 years ago. He's an expert on detoxification also, and he is a pioneer in nutrition. After the break, we'll come back and meet Dr. Fred. We're back with Dr. Fred Bisci, who is a PhD in nutrition. Dr. Fred's a remarkable man. He's turning 90 this year. He looks about 30 years younger because of all the good things he does for himself. He's been on a raw food vegan diet for about 60 years now. He's helped over 35,000 people around the world with all kinds of health issues. He is also the head of the Spartan Race Nutrition Board. He has a program called Your Healthy Journey Lifestyle Program that teaches people how to change their lives to detoxify, to heal, and to reach their full health potential. He was born in Staten Island in 1929, and he competed in 18 marathons, 2 ultra marathons. He was an Olympic weightlifter and a boxer. He reminds me of a boxer kind of, but watch out because I'm sure he still has a great right hook even as he approaches 90 years of age. So, without any further ado, Dr. Fred, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate that. I'm very excited to be here because at this point in my life, I'll be 90 in a couple of months, and I want to share my knowledge and my experience with as many people as I possibly can. I want to mentor as many people as I possibly can, because when people really understand how we can become healthy and reverse degenerative disease, in a lot of cases, it's pretty impressive when you actually see it happen.
Let's start from the beginning. You grew up in Staten Island. Tell us a little bit about your early life.
Well, I grew up at the end of the Depression, the 30s and the early 40s. I remember World War II. And we were very poor immigrant people. We didn't have very much to eat. And I had a lot of trouble in school. I don't know if I already told you that.
You did.
I was dyslexic. I had a lot of trouble speaking clearly. And I had trouble reading, so I pretty much thought I was never going to amount to anything. I thought I was pretty stupid, to be honest with you. But it turns out it wasn't the case. And I got into sports. I was very heavy into hanging out in gyms. I was into everything. In the beginning, mostly fighting, and unfortunately, because I was such an angry guy, there was a lot of fighting that wasn't in the gym, it was out in the street. But then I met a guy that was Olympic weightlifting coach, and I was 16 years old, was over 200 pounds. I
Wow.
spent half my life in the gym. And he took me under his wing. He was a great guy, and he tried to help me out in other ways. And he told me that, you can't walk around being that angry. He says, especially in boxing, this is a sport. You're not supposed to try to kill people. So he was a big help to me. Then I wanted to improve my athletic performance. So I actually started to study nutrition at a very young age. I was very fortunate.
How old?
About 14 years old,
wow.
because my father read Physical Culture magazine. So I saw that, and I saw all this information about how you could improve your athletic performance. But I realize now, looking back, what I was really trying to do was to solve my problem with anger, and I was very, very upset that my self-esteem was very bad because I couldn't read, which I overcame all that. Now I could scan a page. I could actually look at a page. Because I'm a dyslexic, I could scan it. And if you ask me to read aloud, I got a problem. But I could scan a whole page.
I understand what's going on.
You know what I'm saying,
Yep.
right? Yeah, I could read it and retain it. Even at this point in my life, my memory, and I've had 4 brain concussions, just one this past. I went to a baseball game, I got hit in the head with a line drive, they had to take me to the hospital.
Wow.
So I've had 4 brain concussions. I have no cognitive decline as far as I know. And that's because of my lifestyle, and I've been into a hyperbaric chamber almost 100 times.
And how old were you when you obtained your PhD?
About 32 years old.
Wow.
Well, I was continually
almost 60
trying.
years now.
I told you, I shared with you what, I actually walked out of a class because I think I shared that
You told
with
me
you.
that.
I was, it was a biochemistry class, and the professor in Wagner College, which had said you couldn't go more than 10 or 12 days without food, you would die. And I studied with the best Europeans in the world, Otto Buchinger, Ragnarsberg, Dr. Carl Otto Ali. I was very heavy into fasting. I did a lot of experimenting with fasting. And I had already fasted for 30 days on water, and she was telling me you couldn't do it. So I didn't want to insult her, but I said, no, it could be done. And one thing led to another, and she said, maybe you better leave the class. I left the class, and I went on to a different school.
Probably the best move you made.
Best move I ever made. Because a lot of things I first learned in school, it wasn't reversing diabetes, arthritis, giving a person that has early stage of cancer a chance to reverse it.
We'll get to all those after the break.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, we'll be back. Some words from our sponsor. And we're back. Now, the question that everybody wants to know the answer to is, obviously you know what you're doing, so what is your lifestyle and diet like today?
Well, when I first got into a raw food diet, because of my study with the Europeans, Otto Buchinger, I was only going to do it to see if you could survive on raw foods. And I did it. I was only going to do it for a couple months. Keep in mind that I was 200 pounds when I started. And then I started with the fasting. That was all part of raw food, and I lost 75 pounds. And of course, everybody thought I had gone crazy, I was going to die. But I knew I was onto something, because remember what I told you about being a dyslexic and my cognitive function? It turned that all around, turned it around completely. So I decided to stay with it about a year, and then to see what was going to happen. Well, I'm still doing it, more than 60 years. And I would never give it up, because you can't give it up, because I know what's happening. And I know that what I'm doing is I'm really prolonging my life. And not that I want to live a long time, but it's the quality of life. I've had some very severe injuries. They were going to cut out my forehead. You see this here? I had a hole inside of my head. You could put your finger in there. They were going to cut out my forehead. I was going to have to get plastic surgery. At the last minute, I decided not to do it. The guy said, you're not going to live a long time. I'm fine.
How many years ago was that?
I was 82 years old at the time, yeah. So, I mean, I know the body's a miraculous biological organism. It was designed to live by natural law. Our healthcare system is an abstract science. It's not the true science of how the human body works. The human body, the way it's designed, it's designed to repair itself, keep your chemistry at an optimal level. The thing is, we try to intercede too much, whether it's with supplements, and supplements in the right place are definitely called for, or, incorrect things.
Right.
You got to let your body have free reign over your chemistry. If you can do it, you can reverse, I would say, 85% of our disease. I do it all the time.
That goes right into my next question, because
Right.
what you're basically saying, we have an innate intelligence of the body. When it's given the right set of
Exactly.
circumstances, the body can do what it's designed to do.
Exactly.
So how do you reverse disease with nutrition and with food?
Well, we have to realize, let me start from the right place. Every species of animal on Earth has a species-specific diet based on its anatomical design. You look at a lion or a tiger or a giraffe, he eats leaves off of trees, he got square teeth. If you understand his chemistry, his digestive juices, every animal is that way. So what I learned from the Europeans, that we are designed to eat a plant-based diet. We have adapted over thousands, millions of years to be able to eat some animal protein. We're not basically designed to eat a lot of animal protein. So when I was a young kid fighting and lifting weights and all that type of thing, I ate animal protein. I didn't overdo it like they're doing today. They're getting bigger and stronger, but they're accelerating their aging process. They don't realize it. They're more prone to all kinds of diseases. That's why a lot of men today, when they're 55 or 60, and a lot of the guys that I've seen that were Mr. Olympias and Mr. Universe and all, they all got problems. They're keeping it below the surface.
You're talking about species-specific diets. So
Yeah.
if you do eat, and you told me before that the other day that you're not opposed when people do eat some animal protein.
Yeah, in the right proportions to what
Right.
else you're doing.
But they have to eat animal protein from an animal that eats what it eats in nature.
And it has to be clean. It can't be loaded with hormones, pesticides.
Right.
Otherwise, it don't take much to mess us up. See, that's what people don't realize. A lot of people say, "Oh, Freddie, I eat good. I eat salad. I do this. I eat lean protein. I drink juice." Yeah, but you find out, and they say, "Why do I have arthritis? Why do I have inflammation? Why am I having headaches and everything?" It's because they think because they're doing all those good things, they have leeway where they can do the bad things. We don't. In fact, a guy like me, I can't step outside my parameters because it hits me instantly. Because your body becomes so sensitive. And what happens, I feel it right away.
Yep.
I'm the type of guy, I'm a very social person. I like to kid around, I travel a lot. But I know, and sometimes you run into people say, "Oh, come on, Freddie, break out. Have yourself a hot dog." They don't, first of all, I have no desire to do that. And I certainly don't want to offend anybody. They have no idea what's happening there. And then you have the person that says, "Oh, I can eat everything, it don't bother me." Well, they don't really know what that means. They're in trouble. They're already suffering from subclinical pathologies. You know what I'm saying.
That's exactly.
They don't get it.
That's
And
the
of course, there's all kinds of things we could take. Now CBD's coming available, and they all have merit. I'd rather see somebody using CBD and medical marijuana than the opioids. They're killing people with the opioids. So and there's an answer to all this. But the thing is, people have to be re-educated. A lot of things I learned in school, I had to unlearn, and it wasn't easy. But I was very fortunate. I had some of the best mentors, the European guys they've been into this for years. Right?
And everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, how do you get involved with the Spartan races?
Well, Joe, the guy, the CEO of Spartan, he's an elite athlete, and he called me up once and he said him and two other guys did a 500-mile run across Alaska with below zero temperatures. I said, "Joe, this could be very damaging and everything." So I coached him on nutrition. I told him what to do. I told him how to make sure he's getting enough quality fats, because otherwise, you can't run across Alaska and eat too much fruits and vegetables. You'll turn into an icicle. So you have to be able to generate, with the fats, generate basal metabolism and create a lot of heat. So him and two other guys, they ran 500 miles. I don't know how many days. They did it very, very quickly. But he got severe frostbite and everything. But he's a super strong guy mentally. It's mental.
Now, after we come back from the break, I want to hear about what you're doing with the Spartan Nutrition Board.
Okay.
We'll be back after the break. And we're back. The Spartan Nutrition Board, what's your function with them?
Well, I'm head of the Spartan Nutritional Program, and what we're trying to do, what Joe is trying to do, we're doing a documentary out of Cornell with Dr. Campbell, the guy that did the China project, and we're trying to there's a lot of elite athletes affiliated with them. Like one guy ran 135 miles in 40 hours. But if you're not, taking, it's still taking a toll on your body. But if you know how to nourish your body and prevent the oxidative stress and free radical damage, you can do that, and it's not going to beat you all up. So, and Rory's involved with. He's helped me do this. Our message now, we're going to have a nutritional program for athletes, and we can use that in general for a lot of people that are sick, have type 2 diabetes and arthritis and all these type of problems. And Joe really wants to get it out there. And we're starting with the documentary. We're going to have a documentary that's coming out into the movie theaters. And then he's going to have try to put together, he already has some kind of a program that's on TV. I'm not involved with that yet, but I'm going to be involved with it. And we're going to have a television show where we're going to have weekly information to give to people and have guests on like yourself and people from different, chiropractors, medical doctors, and of course, I like open debates. I don't like I don't think it's a great thing that everybody always agrees with each other.
Right.
Then you're not learning anything, So it's going to be really big. He wants to make the Spartan race an Olympic event, and if anybody can do it, he can do it. And they have races in 32 countries. I forget how many races. And the races are brutal.
I know.
They're much harder than a marathon. I've ran numerous marathons and 250-mile races. They are difficult. There's 42 different challenges. You swim through ice cold lakes. You're going hand over hand, and it's pretty, it's pretty tough stuff.
Talking about debates, did you ever have a debate with yourself and convince yourself of something that you thought was true? Any major changes in your opinion over the years,
Oh,
nutrition-wise?
absolutely. Well, life's an ongoing learning process. Look, much that I've had to change since I was a young fella getting into this. I've changed a lot. When I was a young guy lifting weights, weighed over, 210 pounds, if you told me that going without food wasn't insanity, you could have never convinced me to go on a fast. But after my experience with my own experience in fasting and fasting so many people that were ill and watching people that done it correctly, I would say 90% of them recovered their health because I wouldn't fast anybody that wouldn't work. I had the experience. And I studied with the best guys in the world. Otto Buchinger probably fasted over 80,000 people. Dr. Carl Otto Ali, he was the guy that took, and now this is almost unbelievable, took 11 people, fasted them 10 days, and they walked 330 miles just drinking water, and they slept that night. Dick Gregory fasted 57 times. You know who Dick Gregory
Yes,
was,
remember.
right? He walked,
in jail.
And ran 100 miles. He ran 50 miles a day across the country, just drinking vegetable juices. Now, where's your protein? Where's all the things that people you need? I fasted 10 days when I had the television show. Some young kid, martial artist, great kid, we became friends. He said, I don't believe it, Freddie. He says, I'd like to see you do something like that. So he put me on the spot. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, yeah, I'll do it. I've done it. I could fast 10 days. Are you going to trust me? Yeah, I trust you. So I did. I fasted 10 days. I thought only a few people that were in the health food store that day were going to be at Clover Lake Park. And turns out there was about 50 people there. And they took pictures and everything. Of course, I'm a thin guy. After fasting 10 days, I was thin. But I ran fast through 10 miles through Clover Lake Hills. So somebody took the picture and put it on television, on the social media. And some kid said, if I'm going to look like that guy, he said, I don't want to look like that guy. I don't care what he's doing. Of course, I was thin. So Rory got all upset. He wanted to get the picture. I said, no, leave it on there. Don't worry about it. The guy that put it on thought he was doing us a favor. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't care if you leave it on there. You know what I mean? Of course, when you fast 15, 20 days, you're going to lose weight. Right. If you're thin to start with. People don't understand about fasting. If I could look at you, believe it or not, as slender as you are, you could fast 15 days, no trouble. You got the reserves. You'll start burning body fat right away. Mm-hmm. Some people don't start burning body fat right away. See, that's the key to be able to exercise, and without eating, you have to be able to burn body fat, something similar to a ketogenic diet. But it happens instantly. As soon as you start moving, when I did that, as soon as I started moving, you could actually feel it happen. Once you're burning body fat and your body's used to doing it, and you can, it's nothing. It's a direct source of energy with no energy loss for digestion. Mm. You got a direct pipeline to energy, fat, body fat. You don't have to digest it. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yes. Can you tell us, don't have too much time left, but I want to cover a few more things.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I love to hear you talk. Tell us about the greatest achievement you ever had with a patient. Anything come to mind? I mean, you've had many, but any
stage
particular
4
one?
pancreatic cancer, survived 14 years. And then he did succumb. But what happened is that his wife got Alzheimer's disease and he got discouraged and he came off his diet and he died. Yeah, well, I mean, like arthritis. I mean, if you're not bone on bone, and don't think I'm going to tell everybody to eat all raw. You don't have to eat all raw. Basically, get rid of the processed food, get enough rest, drink clean water, eat a plant-based diet. Unless you have cancer, then you can eat a reasonable amount of animal protein every other day. Eat legumes and vegetables, similar to Mediterranean type of diet. Don't eat before you go to bed because that's the worst thing you could do. Or eat in the middle of the night, you want to get cancer, get up in the middle of the night and have a pastrami sandwich. If you do that, if you just leave out the processed food and you eat 3 meals a day, you don't even have to eat 3 meals a day. People think you got to eat all day. The young kids that lift weights are eating 6 times a day, eating animal protein 3 or 4 times a day. Training heavy, they're getting all blown up, but they're wearing out their joints and they're going to get the, prostate cancer and all these other problems for you know why.
That's great advice. One last question.
What?
Do you have anything planned for your 100th birthday?
I just want to help people, that's all. My 100th birthday, I'll go for a 10-mile run. If I'm standing up, I'll go for a 10-mile run.
Dr. Fred, thank you very much for being on our show. It's been
My
a pleasure.
pleasure. Anytime for you, Mike. I enjoyed it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And remember, there is only one truth. Each and every episode will continue to do our best to bring the truth to you with the hope that you and your loved ones can live healthier, safer, and more fulfilling lives. I'm Dr. Mike, and thanks for watching our show. Until next time,